Hey, Geri there?
This is her.
Welcome to the Wise
Geri.
Guy
Oh, my
Show.
God.
Jerry.
How are you?
Sorry about the technical problems. We're trying something new because of the fact that we had a problem with a wire. But
We are experiencing
I want to welcome
operating
you, and
difficulties.
let's hope we could get
Please
this done.
stand by.
Great.
How's everything going?
Everything's good.
Now,
How about with you guys?
Good,
Other than
everything's
your
good, other than the
technical
wire
difficulty?
problem that we're having over here. But tell us a little bit about your podcast. Jerry Petito's on the phone. Let us know a little bit about what your podcast is about.
Well, I'm on different networks, and I really don't cover a specific thing. I do addiction, I do recovery, I do health, I do music, authors. So it's a mix of everything.
Nabog y tutagos.
Nice.
And how'd you
That's right.
how'd you get started with the podcast? What made you get going?
All right, so that's a great question because I wrote a book in 2016. I'm not an addict. I'm just an ass. I'd rather be a smart ass than a dumb ass.
Sure.
And
Lot of truth.
I was approached by Doc G, the original owner of Hamilton Radio, to be interviewed about my book.
Okay.
So once that happened, he kept asking me to come on board as a host. And I struggled for a couple months, I'm not sure, but then I said yes, and the rest is history. I ended up on actually like 5 different networks at one time, all over the world, and it's just amazing. God is good because I shouldn't even be here today.
God bless you.
God is, first of all, God is great. This is Jumpin' Gennaro. We should introduce across the board.
Yeah, go ahead.
Jumpin' Gennaro.
God is great. Thank you.
So it sounds like you talk a lot about truth, and I think people are so tired of hearing a lot of mumbo jumbo. That's what we do. We give our opinion, we give our truth, and we bring a lot of dynamic as well. But you said something that was really very important, and it is about truth. Specifically, when you're talking about addiction. I actually did a little research on you, and I wanted to hear a lot more about your journey, and I guess we'll get to that point. But on the specifics about how people are not getting the truth about addiction.
That's right.
And so that was very intriguing to me. So and you're because you experienced it, and you're very blunt, and you have no problem with telling people they're full of shit. So. That's what I want to hear.
Okay, so you want me to tell you a little bit about that?
Yes.
Okay, so this is what happened to me. I did everything 31 years ago that the rehab told me to do. I got a sponsor immediately. I went to meetings every single day for 30 days. And I'm going to be honest with you, and I've said this in a lot of interviews, I wanted to shoot my brains out. Because they have you standing up there saying, hi, I'm Geri, I'm an addict, I'm powerless over my addiction. Well, that's going to keep you brainwashed, and it's going to keep you powerless over an addiction you no longer have if you're clean and sober. So I started doing a lot of research, and I made a decision then to stop going to meetings, but that was for me. I want to say something about that. I never tell anyone not to go to meetings if that's their only support. I had a great support system, family and friends, but if that's your only support, please go. But understand this if you go. You are not powerless, not over anything, especially if you bring God into the equation.
200%.
So
Everybody's different.
what I realized was this. You do have a disease, but it's not a disease. It's a dis-ease of the brain cells. I even studied the brain. I'm not kidding you. I went all over the world. I went behind the scenes in Russia, in laboratories. And you have a dis-ease of the brain cells while using. And that could be with anything, guys. I mean, think about it. Sex, food, right? Drugs, gambling. Your brain cells change. They alter. And that's all that is. But in 1 year, you can cure it all, fix it, change it, and put your brain cells back to a healing state that they were in prior to that. I haven't been to a meeting in 31 years, really. Listen, and again, I'm not telling anyone not to go if that's their only support. But I will never, ever call myself an addict because I'm no longer one. I will never say I'm powerless, and I'll never say I have a disease forever. And I'm going to share something with you that made me really get it. The programs teach you and the family certain things, right? They teach the addict that you're powerless, you have a disease for life. But they teach the family to let that person they love, who apparently has a disease for life that they can't help because they're powerless over it, but kick them to the curb and let them hit rock bottom. So that is contradictory. If you truly have a family member that you love and they have this so-called disease that they can't control, why would you kick them to the curb?
Right. Makes sense. Yeah.
So I knew then, I was like, there's something wrong here, because I will use tough love. Okay, you don't know how many family members I've helped with tough love. That I'm 5'4". One of my cousins is 6'3", and I said to him, if you don't get in my car now, I kidnapped him one morning. I said, I'll punch you in the face. And he was scared. He's like, okay, I'll get in the car. And, so there's a time and place for everything. But as long as people can understand that they've been fed lies and they're not powerless, I have to keep saying that, they can heal.
Yes, so
very inspiring.
Right, it all depends
very,
what type
very
of person
deep,
they are,
very
too.
deep.
If they're strong-minded,
yeah,
you could do what you did. Right? If you're weak-minded, you need,
Here's a conversation.
like she said.
What she tapped on was very interesting, because this in real time, one of the biggest diseases is gaming. People think, well, you're on the video games for a long time. No, it's another addiction. Anything that takes control of you, where you're hours and hours doing something, it's another addiction. So she tapped on something extremely important, is that anything could become an addiction, and you become basically, trapped. And how do you reverse that is both with psychological and obviously you have to have faith. You have to believe that, there's a greater being to overcome. So you're Italian? You're Italian descent?
Heck yeah, baby.
Did you really understand tutto goes? Did you understand that?
Oh, come on. They've said that to me my whole life. I want to ask you guys something.
Yeah.
Can I read a poem out of my book?
Yeah, sure.
Yes. Absolutely.
Because this poem says it all in a nutshell. And before I read this, I want to share something else with you that I learned. I revised my book in 2020. My book was really small, okay? It was like 50 pages. Now it's like 250 pages. Because of everything that's happened to me in my journey, even with the radio shows, right, since 2016. So I revised it. But I want to share something interesting, and you guys can research this because this is out there. This is knowledge, okay? Bill W., who started AA, really had great intentions on helping the addicts and the alcoholics. And he was helped by a friend who was a doctor, and they put him on niacin, the vitamin niacin that makes you sweat and purge like saunas. And he was cured. At that time, he approached, apparently, AA and said, I want to give all the addicts and alcoholics niacin. And they said, absolutely not. We're keeping them addicts. So understand that. So now, this poem says it all. It's called Change Your Choice, because it is a choice. If you could choose to use, you can choose not to. I had a life-changing moment that I knew had to be. The only way to change things was to first start with me. So I looked in the mirror and woke up one day and thought to myself, I needed to pray. I asked God to change me, to help me stay strong, to clean up my mess, to right what's been wrong. I cleaned up my diet. I cleaned up my room. I cleaned up old habits with this old dirty broom. I kept going forward and never looked back. I refused to derail, stayed on the right track. I realized my worth and all that did matter through my selfish behavior, the lives I had shattered. I finally decided at 30 years old to stop abusing my body, my mind, heart, and soul. My life-changing choice that I had once made, over 31 years now, guys, my debt has been paid. So you read all of my thoughts on how to stay clean. It's all or nothing, my friend. There's no in between. To live or to die is a choice you must make. Your life is not worthless, and you're not a mistake. One day at a time is a slogan you've heard. It works if you work it while applying his word. for you to get healthy, for your mind not to fail. Escaping reality will keep you in jail. With addictive behavior, sex, drugs, food, or money, substituting addictions, now isn't that funny? I'm not an addict. This too shall pass. I'm not an addict. I'm just an ass. There you go, guys.
Nice.
Well, we have something signature on our show, and that really deserves the moment. Uno, due, tre, hazzo!
You guys are cool.
Hey, Geri, tell us, tell everybody how to listen to your podcast and when you're on, and any links or anything to go to it, and
right,
obviously your book too, obviously.
All right. Well, my book you can purchase through Simon & Schuster's Archway Publishing bookstore. I'm not an addict. I'm just an ass. Geri Petito. My website is geripetito.com. They can reach out to me personally. Here's my number, first of all, 609-610-1000. They can get me on Facebook, GeriPetito. The reason I'm saying that is I'm on different networks. I'm on Hamilton Radio. That's usually a Tuesday or a Thursday at 4:30 p.m. I'm on different networks, and I do my podcast as well. So I will put everything out there, but I'm a nutritional health coach, and I'm a recovery coach, guys, and I want to say this because I mean it. All my services to you are free. So if anyone out there needs help or knows anyone that does, please reach out to me. Okay?
That's a beautiful thing, Geri.
Well, due to the technical problems, I want to thank you so much, and I'm sorry for making you wait.
No worries.
But we will fix the problem and have you on again, and we will get more into your book. But you want to mention your book, and I know you said where to find it. Is there any other?
It's everywhere. It's Barnes and Nobles. It's all over.
And the name and the title of the book?
The title of the book again is "I'm Not an Addict. I'm Just an Ass."
Okay.
Now wait. When did you write the poem?
2016.
Okay. I'm gonna share.
Yep,
I'm gonna share.
yeah.
I'm gonna share something that I did possibly 26 years ago. I was working on a project as an actor at the Acting Studio Incorporated. We were working on a play called The Incredibly Famous Willie Rivers, which was about a rock and roll star. But we changed it. We used Marky Mark at the time he was really big, and we're talking about the 90s. And it was we had to create in the characters a rap star. I played the incredibly famous Willie Rivers. Working on the project, we had to come up with a poem, and then we had to sing it. Well, at that time there was a big epidemic in heroin, and I saw a lot of people that even I went to school with sick, very sick, and it was so sad. So I literally saw in real time people that were addicted to that. So I used heroin as the word, and this was the rhyme I came up with.
Okay.
Heroin, heroin, there's an evil spirit back in town, surely the master of disaster. I'm sending a message out to you all that haven't yet met the bastard. His name is heroin, the powerful manipulator. It's the ultimate problem creator. It all begins when you make the wrong choice. By listening to an ignorant voice, someone tells you you're going to have fun. Without telling you, it's like messing with a loaded gun. So you give it a try, not realizing you just signed a contract that could set you up to die. Slowly takes over your body and mind until you start selling everything you could find just to get through another day in a dose. By that time, hell is awfully close, because your spirit has been broken down and you start thinking your life can never turn around, but that's when you must beat the enemy. Beat the heroin. Beat the enemy. Beat the heroin. You just burned down the last bridge between you and your family, destroying what was once a unity, so you're high again and on your own trying to get pedo calling from a street phone. But even then, my friend, remember, it's not the end. You must find a place to rehabilitate, to beat the enemy you have learned to hate, and only then will you really start to live again. So beat the enemy, beat the heroin.
Wow.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
That was 1990s, and guess what? We're 30 years almost later, and it's still a terrible epidemic.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. Well,
Yep.
Well, I got to tell you, Jerry, I'm so happy to have met you. Obviously, I want to introduce Italian singing sensation Biagio in the house,
Ciao,
Joey
Jerry.
Catalano, who's listening.
Hey
on.
guys.
Hi, honey.
And we want to get you back on at another time, and I'm happy to have had you, and I'm looking forward to get you on again.
And listen, I'll even interview you guys.
Absolutely. Just let us know.
Let's work this out.
Maybe we'll
can
do a
it
Zoom.
live on screen.
Yes, absolutely.
And we're looking for more sisters in our family, so welcome.
Love you guys.
All right.
Thank you.
Jerry
All right,
Petito,
Jerry.
everybody. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
I'll keep in touch, Jerry.
All right, sweetheart. Thank you guys.
All right. Thank you.
Have a
Ciao,
good night.
ciao.
Bye.
You too.
All right. Well, every now and then we
Nice.
try different things, and that's
Michael,
something
that was
special.
amazing.
Yeah, that was.
Mm-hmm.
That was
That
very
was-
good.
And Freddie.
She
knows
was
this.
great. I don't know how
That
you
was
remember all
amazing.
those. I thought
Very
you were
good.
reading off a book.
What's that?
That's got good memory. I was waiting
Yeah,
for it.
that's
What did it
some
say?
memory. Wow.
Well,
And that was long.
before we leave, though,
Yeah.